side. I didn't say, what are you looking so sad about, Jam?
I'm surprised. I'm really insulted. That's not right what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I went on a Bomber 1 tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
Well, you've been on the tour. Oh.
What's happening, my people? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Historian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Miss Cass, Mike Grimm, salute to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the Box Historian. Today, longest title reigns, best right cross, best Southpaws, tallest boxers. We're going to look at a few different things today. As far as history, we're going to look at the longest title reigns. We're going to look at some of the best right crosses in boxing history, some of the best Southpaws in boxing history, and some of the tallest boxers in boxing history. All that today on Cast Sports, the Box Historian, bringing you all that boxing history. As the family today, it's Hump Day. That's right, this is the Hump Day edition of Cast Sports, the Box Historian. Right in the middle of another big week of boxing history. We're going to cover Brazil tomorrow. It's going to be the country we look at. Thursday, boxing around the world. Yeah, boxing in Brazil. Yeah. But today, let's get into the fight of today, the fight of the day. Okay, start the show out. Are you ready? Let's get started with the fight of the day. The fight of the day today will be Larry Holmes versus Jerry Cooney, June 11th, 1982. Okay, we're going to take a look at that historic fight. Holmes versus Cooney, June 11th, 1982. Okay, so let's go. It was boxing's biggest night, but for all the wrong reasons. In terms of sheer popularity, exposure, and the money that goes with it, the 1980s has to be the most successful decade in the long history of professional prize fighting. As it began, the sporting world was buzzing about a Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran super fight, and championship matches featuring stars such as Marvin Hagler, Alexis Arguello, and Thomas Hearns were a staple of the major networks' weekend sports shows, with even occasional primetime specials. Exciting prospects like Ray Boom Boom Mancini and Hector Macho Camacho were emerging, and Sylvester Stallone was writing the script for Rocky III. The only thing missing was a popular heavyweight champion. The only thing missing was a popular heavyweight champion. Muhammad Ali had retired after his rematch win against Leon Spinks 2 years before. And while Larry Holmes had since established himself as the best big man around, he just didn't excite anyone outside of hardcore boxing fans. The general public had become accustomed to the heavyweight champion being a larger-than-life character, someone with charisma and mass appeal. In addition to being a flashy boxer, Ali had a mouth that never stopped jabbering, right? Political significance and sex appeal. Holmes lacked all three. By comparison, he seemed ordinary, uninspiring. The Holmes' battering of Ali in 1980 didn't satisfy anyone. The public wanted a reason to be excited again about the big man. And in fact, what no one could admit openly was that after 2 decades of Ali rubbing America's face in his own racism, the nation was more than ready for that novelty called a white heavyweight champion. This was Sports Illustrated even before the fight. Okay. Number 1 ranked heavyweight, Jerry Cooney. He was just number 1, and they were celebrating him like he was the champion already. Okay. Jerry Cooney. Salute Mike Massey in the building. Fight of the day, Larry Holmes versus Jerry Cooney. Okay? As if on cue, along came Jerry Cooney, a big, strong, powerful puncher with Irish roots and a pasty complexion. From Huntington, New York, Cooney had, excuse me, from Huntington, New York, Cooney had both a massive left hook and a soft-spoken manner, a welcome change for many after Ali's brass wave. Now, Cooney started to attract attention in boxing circles in 1979 with brutal knockouts over Eddie Lopez and Dino Dennis. But it was on national television that he electrified millions by demolishing long-time contenders Jimmy Young and Ron Lau. Just like that, boxing had a new star and the first white American heavyweight with the goods since at least Jerry Corey, maybe since Rocky Marciano. To his credit, Cooney eschewed all talk of race and insisted he just wanted to become the best boxer he could be. But that ambition proved difficult to pursue given the nervous tendencies of his managers, Dennis Rappaport and Mike Jones. His wins over Young and Lau should have been the precursors to clashes with younger, tougher competition, but instead, they matched Cooney with an over-the-hill Ken Norton in Madison Square Garden. Cooney again impressed by viciously punching Norton's head like it was a speed bag and forcing a stoppage in just 54 seconds of the first round, a Madison Square Garden record. But hard-nosed boxing experts held out for more competitive fights against some of the younger contenders, like Michael Dokes and Greg Page. Okay? But if some boxing people remained skeptical, the public did not. Cooney's demolition of Ken Norton made a huge impact and cemented his reputation as the hardest puncher in the heavyweight division and a logical challenger for the title. His managers, Jones and Rappaport, refused to risk the huge payday guaranteed by Cooney's sudden stardom with more challenging fights, perhaps because they knew something about Gentleman Jury that everyone else did not. Close observers did note that Cooney exhibited a sensitivity and psychological fragility unusual in a prize fighter. Son of a domineering father, at times he appeared to lack belief in himself and was only too quick to defer decisions to his handlers. As boxing trainer Patty Flood put it, I don't get a sense of confidence from him. He can punch, but I don't know if he can fight. There's a difference. There's a difference, okay? Okay, Define Arnie 1 in the building. What's up, Define Arnie 1? We on the fight of the day today. Larry Holmes versus Jerry Cooney. Salute, Define Arnie 1. Okay, let's continue with the fight of the day. Following the Norton win, negotiations began in earnest for a Holmes versus Cooney title fight. Negotiations which dragged on for months as Jones and Rappaport, Cooney's managers, knowing exactly what their fighter was worth, insisted on big money. Cooney may have been unproven as a legitimate championship fighter, but Madison Avenue already loved him, and he had celebrity status and major endorsements, despite having yet to face a true ring threat. This fact was a loss on Holmes, who resented Cooney's success and didn't shy away from bluntly stating the truth. If Cooney wasn't white, he wouldn't be nothing, declared the champion, who had come up the ranks the hard way and had swallowed his pride more than once after finally winning his championship. Now, he was being asked to swallow it again and forfeit millions of dollars as Jones and Rappaport insisted on an even split of the riches instead of the customary arrangement of the champion getting the larger purse. While the wrangling went on over the terms of the fight, Cooney sat on the shelf. Holmes stayed active, defending against Leon Spinks and Reynaldo Snipes, stopping both challengers on primetime television. After his destruction of Leon Spinks, Albert Cosell invited Cooney over during the post-fight interview with Holmes, and in response, the indignant champion attempted to assault the young contender on live television before storming off. This would end up being as much action as Cooney's managers would allow him to see while everyone awaited the inevitable showdown. But it was enough to further whet the public's interest. More than one exhibition was scheduled for Cooney, but none actually took place. The fight was originally slated for March, but had to be postponed after Cooney injured his back in training. As a result, in almost 2 full years, Cooney saw less than 2 rounds of action prior to the biggest fight of his life. Yep. And they were building him up. They were building Cooney up. Him and Rocky, right? Rocky was a made-up movie character. They had him on Time magazine like he was actually a heavyweight contender, right? That was an actual Time magazine back in the 80s. But this was fitting because by this point, all boxing logic had long since given way to the demands of publicity, marketing, and media hype. Cooney barely deserved his chance at a world title, yet for the public, not only was he the logical top contender, he was the only contender, regarded by many as the favorite to win. As the favorite to win. The drunk Irishman in the building. Salute to the drunk Irishman. Fight of the day, Holmes versus Cooney. Let's salute drunk Irishman. Let's get back into it. Everybody, please hit the like, subscribe. Appreciate everybody in the building so far. Okay, back to Holmes versus Cooney. Cooney was regarded as the only contender, right? And he was regarded as the favorite to win. The visions of Cooney doing the Holmes, what he'd done to Lyle and Norton, was in everyone's minds. And these fantasies were only fueled further by an astonishing number of boxing writers and observers who should have known better, actually picking Cooney to win, who should have known better, right? But they were picking with their hearts instead of their minds. That's what picking with their hearts instead of their minds. Should have known better. In retrospect, it's obvious that so much of this was wishful thinking on the part of white America. Holmes, an excellent boxer with a withering left jab, one of the best ever, and proven heart, had established himself as a complete fighter, while Cooney, in boxing terms, remained a near complete mystery. But the challenger was by far the more media-friendly athlete, something new and different, and a total departure from Muhammad Ali, the figure who had dominated boxing for so long. Remember, this was right after Ali, early 80s, right? Okay. The appetite for a Cooney win was nothing short of monumental. In the lead up to the fight, it was Cooney's face, not Holmes, on the cover of Time magazine and Sports Illustrated. There was talk of filming a movie about his life, as huge contracts and corporate endorsements awaited his signature. A direct phone line to the White House had been installed in the challenger's dressing room, as the president, Ronald Reagan, could call him after his victory. No such phone line was in Holmes' dressing room, All 25-year-old Jerry Cooney had to do was win. And he would be the biggest American sports hero since Babe Ruth, way back in the 20s. And yet, the fact remained that no one really knew how good a boxer Jerry Cooney really was. Okay? No one knew nothing about this man's skills. The president had a phone line in his dressing room, but he didn't have one in home to challenge the champion's dressing room. But no one knew how good Cooney was, but they found out. They found out. And the truth is, we still don't know, and we never will. The situation created by Cooney's managers and the American media was one of unbelievable pressure. It was make or break, do or die. If Cooney won, he became a larger-than-life American hero. If he lost, he was a bust. And all the critics who questioned him by pointing to his inactivity and failure to take on a viable top contender were proven right. The hopes of millions who wanted desperately to see him win and bring some major excitement back to the heavyweight boxing rested on his big white shoulder. Perhaps not surprisingly, this massive public pressure ruined him as an athlete, ruined the man's career. The media did it. The racist American media did it. Fight night in Vegas, the crowd set a new record for the richest live gate in boxing history. Look at that. Let's set a new record for the richest live gate in boxing history anywhere in the world up to that point. Okay. Ironically, Cooney's finest ring performance, without question, remains his valiant effort to surmount all that pressure and become heavyweight champion of the world. He never came close to winning the fight, but he put up a hell of a fight, better than his critics ever thought he could. On that hot June night in Las Vegas, Cooney gave Holmes, one of the best heavyweights in history, a tough, grueling battle, and in the process, exhibited power, poise, courage, and durability. In the time following, he would compete after the fight. He would compete sporadically, a total of 5 fights over almost 8 years. And while the lethal power remained, never again would he show the grit and will required to compete at the highest level, because all that pressure the media and all the hopes put on him ruined him. They put him up on that pedestal so high that when he lost, he just fell so far, he could never attain that level again. That was the media's fault, right? They put too much pressure on that man's shoulders. And he still gave a great performance, though. The Holmes vs. Cooney showdown at Caesar's Palace proved to be the biggest match in boxing history up to that point, with a record live gate of some $7 million and a total haul of over $40 million. This was in the 80s. Over 450 closed circuit theaters showed the fight in the United States and Canada alone, with millions more around the world watching by satellite delayed broadcasts. Along with hundreds of high rollers and celebrities, almost 1,000 media correspondents from various countries gathered at ringside. The massive crowd had come less to see a great boxing match than to see history made, a fact borne out by Cooney's ring entrance, prompting cheers, while the champion was greeted with muted applause and boos. That's how bad they wanted Cooney to win this fight. Bad. The fight itself, a long delayed, so long anticipated, defied expectations. Cooney's reputation rested on his crushing power in the early knockouts. The longer the fight went, the better the chances for Holmes. And yet, it was the champion who struck first. The opening round saw the dominant pattern of the fight established. Cooney, the bigger man, stalking Holmes, who circled away from the challenger's primary weapon, a left hook, while snapping home his sharp left jab. took that left hook away from him immediately. The second round was more the same. Neither man having a decided edge, when Holmes suddenly struck with a perfectly timed right cross over Cooney's signature hook through the body. The challenger staggered and reeled about the ring before landing on his knees. Had the fight ended there with all of that build-up and anticipation, the damage to the sport of boxing would have been incalculable. But thankfully, an embarrassed Cooney immediately rose, not only survived the remainder of the round, but struck Holmes with some stunning shots to Holmes' body before the bell, before the round ended. Yeah, Cooney got some nice shots. Oh, I went backwards. Bear with me for a moment, please. Okay, there we go, right here. Lost track of where the display was at. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's when Cooney went to the knees. Okay, I think it was the second round. Yeah, round two. Cooney down from a right hand in round two. Now, having learned that Cooney could take his power, Holmes went about boxing him, keeping the fight tactical and the hulking challenger at the end of his jab, while Cooney doggedly pressed and stalked, throwing the heavy artillery to the body before aiming upstairs. As if he didn't already have enough pressure. Between rounds, Cooney's trainer, Victor Valley, urged his charge to set a faster pace, while his co-manager, Dennis Rappaport, shouted in his ear such tasteless, if not racist cries as, "America needs you, Jerry." Cooney gave as good as he got in rounds 3, 4, and 5, hurting Holmes at the end of the fourth round with a vicious hook to the body. But in the sixth, Holmes again struck with his potent right and had the challenger in serious trouble, chasing him about the ring and almost putting him through the ropes with his follow-up attack. Confounding his critics, Cooney took the shots and stayed on his feet before coming back at round's end with 3 heavy left hooks of his own. Now, sporting cuts on his left eye and the bridge of his nose, the challenger worked to stay in the fight as Holmes put on a clinic, moving briskly, keeping the action in the center of the ring, blocking his opponent's hooks and snapping Holmes' sharp counterpunches. In round 9, Cooney, who had repeatedly struck Holmes below the belt, lost 2 points after a vicious left to the groin. And in the 10th round, the two fighters went toe-to-toe, bringing the crowd to its feet as they teed off on each other, both landing hard shots. At the bell, the combatants exchanged taps of respect, a singular moment for a contest that had been freighted with so much racial tension and divisiveness. Yeah, they started showing a little respect toward the end, around the 10th round, to each other. Technique in the building. What's up, Technique? Technique says Cooney was a better man, but Technique, sometimes the better man loses. The better man lost. Okay, let's salute Technique. Let's continue. Let's continue. By this point, Cooney had proven himself. All the boxing people who wrote him off for his inactivity and lack of serious opposition had to concede his courage. He had risen from a knockdown and for the first time in his career, tasted his own blood. And there he was, still throwing punches, still battling back. That said, there could be no doubt as to who was winning. except, that is, in the eyes of the ringside judges. This is how bad they wanted Cooney to win. Amazingly, if it were not for the points Cooney had lost for low blows, all three judges would have had him ahead, right? The crowd and the pent-up desire for Cooney to win were affecting the judges. And you know they were paid. Holmes had to get him out of there because if it went 15 rounds, they was going to give it to Cooney, okay? Holmes was clearly winning the fight, but the judges had Holmes ahead slightly, only because Cooney had lost 2 points. He hadn't lost those 2 points, they had him ahead. So the judges were clearly paid off, okay? Cooney was not winning that fight. I saw this fight as it happened. Better man, whatever, he was not winning that fight. The judges were cheating, okay? They wanted, Cooney was the great white hope. They wanted him to win, so they were cheating. Let's keep it up 100 here. Keep it 100. The judges were paid off to give it to Cooney. Luckily, Holmes stopped him. Now, thankfully, the scorecards would be unnecessary. By the 12th round, Cooney was exhausted and had become an easy target for Larry's quicker hands. The jab and straight right were landing repeatedly, and in the 13th, a competitive fight turned into a one-sided battering of the better man, like Technique said. Turned into a one-sided battering of the better man. Holmes finally had his man exactly where he wanted him. And near the end of the round, he connected with 11 unanswered right hands. The blows sending Cooney toppling in sections along the ropes. As the challenger gamely pulled himself to his feet, Trainer Valley rightfully stepped into the ring and saved him. And almost immediately, the toll on Jerry Cooney's psyche was apparent. After Holmes had been announced the winner, Cooney took the microphone to apologize to his fans. He couldn't even finish what he wanted to say before breaking down. The psychological burden, the pressure, and now the disappointment were crushing. And that was the media's fault, making him believe he could beat Holmes, when Holmes was clearly the better fighter. Okay, clearly the better fighter. But the press and all the hopes had Cooney thinking he could win it, but no way he was going to beat Holmes. No way. He got stopped. Okay, and to this day, the question still lingers. Was Jerry Cooney mismanaged? On the one hand, his handlers guided him to a position where he could command a $10 million payday and achieve financial security for the rest of his life. On the other, a charged situation without adequate experience or the opportunity to develop his talent ruined him. After the loss, he avoided competing, citing various injuries when fights were postponed or canceled, while he was seen as often in nightclubs as in the gym. He eventually developed a drinking problem and later suffered humiliating knockout defeats to Michael Spinks and George Foreman before finally retiring. Okay. Before finally retiring. Okay, now where was I? No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. Let's see here. Where am I? No, that's not bad at all, Technique. Not a bad loss. And he went all the way to the 13th round. Yeah, it was a great fight. Now, Holmes always insisted that Cooney's difficulties were strictly mental, that there was nothing wrong with him physically or with his ability to take a punch. Foreman claimed that no one had hit him harder than Jerry Cooney did in the first round of their 1990 fight, but the fact remains that after his loss to Holmes, Cooney never fulfilled his promise or became a boxer of significance. An intriguing oddity since his clash with Larry Holmes stands in one of the most significant fights in boxing history. A social barometer no less fascinating for what it revealed about the larger culture than other historic matches such as Louisburg Smelling, Ali versus Frazier, or Jeffries versus Johnson. Yeah, and Larry Holmes and Jerry Cooney became very good friends. I mean, still are very good friends. There you go. Yeah. Later in life. Now, Holmes said they talk about once a week. Yeah, that's them currently. Yeah, but a great fight. Yeah. I think they kind of pushed Jerry a little fast. But yeah, great fight. Jerry Holmes and Larry Cooney. No, not a bad loss at all, technically. Okay. Yeah, that was a fight of the day. Larry Holmes and Gentleman Jerry Cooney. Yeah. Yeah, Jerry never won a title, but nowadays Jerry would definitely be a champion. No doubt about it. Right? He fought in the he beat Ken Norton and Ron Lau, beat some big names. And that period he fought in. Yeah. Nowadays, probably be undisputed. Jerry Cooney would probably be undisputed nowadays if he fought now. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna talk about some different things today. We're gonna talk first. We're gonna look at the longest title reigns in boxing history. Okay, let's do that. But I appreciate everybody in the building today. Appreciate everybody that stopped by today. Yeah, first, the longest title reigns in boxing history. We're going to start out with that. We're going to cover a few different things about boxing history. Okay. First, the longest title reigns in boxing history. Okay. Let me turn that down a little bit. I ain't trying to blast y'all out. How's everybody today? It's hump day. We ain't got too much going on this weekend as far as big name boxing. I think it's some fights Friday, right? Right? And there's some fights Friday, but nothing too big. I'm trying to figure out where was that. I went backwards. Okay, here we go. Yeah. This is the longest title reigns in boxing history. 10 longest title reigns in boxing history. Let's take a look at that. Now, in the world of boxing, some fighters like Floyd Mayweather Jr. achieved unbeaten records by moving across weight divisions, while others chose to remain within their weight class for iconic championship reigns. Omar Narvaez enjoyed the longest reign of any flyweight champion, holding the WBO title for 17 years. 17 years. Wow. However, his reign was interrupted by a devastating knockout to Naoya Inoue. Darius Mikulski had an impressive 9-year reign as the WBO light heavyweight champion with 23 successful title defenses. Despite not gaining widespread international fame, his achievements in the sport are noteworthy. Now, in the contemporary era of boxing, where 4 prominent governing bodies, WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO hold sway, it's not uncommon for even dedicated boxing enthusiasts to find themselves bewildered. Certain legendary fighters like Floyd Mayweather Jr. achieved unbeaten records by maneuvering across weight divisions to claim additional titles, leaving lower weight divisions behind. Conversely, some fighters chose to remain within their weight class and embark on iconic championship reigns marked by numerous successful defenses against all challengers. So let's take a look at these historic title reigns. Carlos Monzon, King Carlos Monzon, salute technique. Oh yeah, I already took your technique, been in the building. Okay, yeah, King Carlos Monzon. Title reign 7 years, okay, for King Carlos. King Carlos achieved 14 successful title defenses and held the WBA and WBC titles. He was known for his formidable punching power, particularly his overhand right. Monzon is often cited among the top middleweights of all time. The Argentine superstar captured the WBA and WBC titles in 1970 by defeating Nino Benvenuti in a stunning 12th round knockout. Monzon was known for his iron chin, relentless pressure, and devastating right hand, which allowed him to successfully defend his title 14 times against elite opponents such as Emil Griffith, Rodrigo Valdez, and Benny Briscoe. Monzon's ability to control the pace of fights and neutralize his opponents with precision counterpunching made him nearly unstoppable during his reign. He didn't lose in 13 years, okay? Jack Dempsey. Go back a ways. Jack Dempsey had a 7-year title reign. 7 years. Okay, that's a long time. Dempsey became the world heavyweight champion in 1919 after defeating Jess Willett. His fight set numerous attendance and financial records. First $1 million game. Despite the lengthy reign, he only had 5 title defenses because 3 of those years he was inactive. Dempsey was known for his aggression and knockout power. He successfully defended his title against formidable challengers like Georges Carpenter and Louis Firpo. But his decision to take a 3-year hiatus from the sport ultimately cost him. In 1926, he lost the championship to Gene Tunney before the famous long count rematch in which Dempsey knocked down the challenger. Despite losing his title to Tunney and the rematch, Dempsey's popularity endured and even grew among the American public at the time. The Manasseh Mauler, Jack Dempsey. The aforementioned Larry Holmes. Larry had a 7-year reign, 7 years, 3 months reign. Captured the WBC heavyweight title in 1978 by defeating Ken Norton. Successfully defended his title 20 times with wins over Ernie Shavers, Muhammad Ali, and Leon Spinks. Holmes was renowned for his masterful left jab, one of the best ever, considered one of the best in boxing history. Larry Holmes in that jab. Yeah, I agree, technique. Jack Dempsey is underrated. Very underrated. Sonny Boy Boxing. What's up, Sonny Boy? Yeah, technique. Jack Dempsey is very underrated. You know, I guess time has diminished him a little, since he fought so far back. A lot of people don't really know too much about him. But yeah, if you know your history, Jack Dempsey is huge when it comes to. He was the one that really first popularized boxing. Boxing was right there with horse racing back in the 20s. More popular than baseball, all of that stuff. Yeah, boxing was number 2 to horse racing. Okay. Yeah, Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes cemented his place in boxing history with one of the longest and most dominant heavyweight title reigns in history. His reign was defined by consistency and technical mastery in the ring, though he often struggled to gain the public adoration of his predecessors. Holmes finally lost his belt to Michael Spinks in 1985, bringing an end to a near unmatched era of heavyweight supremacy. The Eastern Assassin, Larry Holmes. Omar Narvaez. Omar, I think he had like 17 years or something. We just talked about him, remember? Incredible, Omar. Omar, 7 years, 8-year reign. But I think he had a whole lot of defenses, right? Now, Omar Narvaez, an Argentine Olympian, etched his name in boxing history by enjoying the longest reign of any flyweight champion, holding the WBO title from 2002 to 2019. 17 years, yeah. 17 years. Not 7. 17. Okay, 17. Left the one off up there. From 2002 to 2019. Narvaez eventually made a move up to the super flyweight division, where he continued to find success by securing the WBO title. However, his reign was interrupted by a formidable opponent, the Japanese superstar Naoya Inoue, the Monster, who emerged victorious with a devastating knockout. Okay, the great, legendary, excellent, incomparable, finito Ricardo Lopez, 9-year reign. Ricardo Lopez stands among a select group of only 15 world boxing champions who concluded their careers without a single defeat. He's the parent, 16 counting Layla Ali. He's the parent of Alonzo Lopez, an undefeated former boxer. Lopez's impressive reign as the WBC strawweight champion, 105, from 1990 to 1998, saw him successfully defend his title against a record-breaking 21 opponents. He stands as one of the rare boxing champions to retire with an undefeated record, had one draw. His remarkable tally of 51 wins and no defeats has drawn comparisons to Floyd Mayweather Jr. Despite competing in a division that may not have the same level of glamour and attention as some of the higher weight classes, his record stands among the greatest in boxing. Finito. Ricardo Lopez. Yes, sir. Darius Michaelzewski. That's Darius on the right. He had a 9-year reign as champion, Darius Michaelzewski. Now, before turning pro, Michaelzewski represented Poland in the 1988 Summer Olympics in Seoul, South Korea. After moving to Germany, Michaelzewski obtained German citizenship and represented Germany in his pro boxing career. Darius Michaelzewski, during his remarkable WBO light heavyweight title reign, achieved a tenure that ranks only second only to Archie Moore in terms of its duration. Michaelzewski's reign stretched an impressive 9 years and 1 month, making it one of the most enduring in the history of the sport of boxing. Throughout this period, Michaelzewski accomplished 23 successful title defenses, outclassing notable opponents such as Virgil Hill, Montel Griffin, and Graziano Riccigiani between 1994 and 2003. His achievements are impressive, despite not garnering widespread international fame due to never fighting Roy Jones Jr. and really fighting outside of Germany. Okay? And there is the old mongoose. The mongoose / old mongoose. You know, he started out, he was the mongoose, but he fought so long, they had to start calling him the old mongoose, Archie Moore. There's Archie on the left there. Archie Moore. He had a reign of 9 years, right? Archie Moore won 132 of his fights by knockout, second of all time. Billy Bird got 139. He fought Muhammad Ali, then known as Cassius Clay. Archie was 48 years old when he fought Clay. Archie Moore, an American boxing legend, is celebrated as one of the pound-for-pound greats in the sport. He achieved the distinction of being the longest reigning world light heavyweight champion in history, maintaining his championship status for almost a decade. Remarkably, Moore's path to a title shot took 16 years due to being avoided by the champions at the time, making his eventual title reign all the more impressive. At the age of 39, with over 160 fights to his name, he secured a championship victory by defeating Joey Maxim in a grueling 15-round fight. And the only reason he got the title shot then was because the powers that be thought he was too old to beat Maxim, because he was 39 then, but he still won the fight. It was a great fight too. Notably, at the age of 41, Moore made a bold move to challenge Rocky Marciano for the world heavyweight title, suffering a defeat in a close fight. Nevertheless, he continued to excel in his original division and remained the light heavyweight champion. He defended his light heavyweight title for the last time, avenging his loss against Giulio Rinaldi in 1961, leaving a lasting legacy in the world of boxing. A 28-year career for Archie Moore. I think it was 1935 to 1963. Vladimir Klitschko. Now he has the longest reign, but it was broken up. Joe Louis has the longest consecutive. Vladimir is the longest reign as heavyweight champion, but it was broken up into two. He got beat, then he got it back. Okay. Cumulative, or whatever you call it. But yeah, 9 years, Vladimir Klitschko. Klitschko represented Ukraine at the 1996 Atlanta Olympics and won the gold medal. Vladimir and his brother Vitaly defined the Klitschko era, both holding world titles. Vladimir Klitschko's place in boxing history is solidified by his remarkable records, including the longest heavyweight title reign ever, extending over 12 years. But remember, it was broken up into two. Okay. His singular title reign persisted for nearly a decade, during which he achieved incredible feats. Klitschko first ascended to the WBO champion status in 2000, securing the title with a victory over Chris Bird. However, his reign was briefly interrupted as he lost the title 3 years later in an unexpected upset defeat at the hands of Corey Sanders. Nonetheless, Klitschko staged a triumphant comeback by reclaiming the championship with a second victory over Chris Bird when he was 30 years old. He proceeded to successfully defend his title against 18 formidable opponents in his second reign. It wasn't until 2015 that he relinquished his unified titles, conceding them to Tyson Fury, marking the conclusion of a remarkable chapter in his boxing career. Okay, couple more. Chris John had a 10-year reign as champion. John is the fourth Indonesian boxer in history to win a world title. He retired after 52 fights, following his only loss to Simpaway Vetyika, retired after his first defeat. Chris John, the Indonesian boxer, is renowned for his exceptional reign as the WBA featherweight champion, a title he held from 2004 to 2013. Now, during his tenure, he impressively defeated 16 opponents, showcasing his mastery in the featherweight division. It's notable that despite his considerable success, he did not gain widespread fame in the Western boxing world, primarily due to the majority of his fights occurring in his home country of Indonesia. Now, John's remarkable championship run came to an end in 2013 when he experienced the first and only loss of his career, conceding his title to Simpaway Vetyika, and that marked the end of his career. B-Hop. Bernard Hopkins. We're talking about some of the longest title reigns in history. Bernard Hopkins. Mike Mazik is in the building. What's up, Mike Mazik? Mike Mazik been in the building. Okay, Bernard Hopkins, 10-year run as champion. Hopkins ended his boxing career at the age of 51 suffering a knockout loss to future world champion Joe Smith Jr. Okay? Hopkins broke his own record twice as the oldest boxer to win a world title. Bernard Hopkins holds the distinction of being the longest reigning middleweight champion in the history of boxing. Hopkins initially ascended to world champion status by clinching the vacant IBF middleweight title in 1995. Over the course of more than a decade, he notched an impressive 20 title defenses against 17 different opponents. Notably, B-Hop's legacy is further polished by his significant victories over legends in the sport, including memorable wins against the likes of Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad, solidifying his status as one of the middleweight division's all-time greats. The great Joe Calzaghe. Joe had a 10-year reign as champion. 10-year reign for Joe. Okay. Calzaghe ended his career by defeating Mikhail Kessler, Bernard Hopkins, and Roy Jones Jr. back to back, 3 final fights. Calzaghe remained undefeated throughout his illustrious career and holds the distinction of being the longest reigning super middleweight world champion in boxing history. He secured and held the WBO title for an impressive span of over a decade, triumphing over 20 formidable opponents during that tenure, right? In 2007, this Welsh pugilist moved on from the super middleweight division, sealing his reign with a victory over Mikhail Kessler. Stepping up to the light heavyweight division, Calzaghe continued his winning ways, notably defeating Bernard Hopkins to claim the ring light heavyweight title. He also successfully defended this title against the formidable Roy Jones Jr. before deciding to hang up his gloves in 2008, marking the end of a remarkable career. You finished it off, Mikhail Kessler, B-Hop, Roy Jones. What an impressive way to finish your career. Johnny Kilbane. We go back a ways. There's Johnny. Johnny had an 11-year title reign, final 2. Kilbane only defended the title against 4 contenders during his tenure as champion. His unofficial record includes 143 fights and 110 wins, 24 by knockout, and 80 newspaper decisions. He was one of those ones, didn't have a lot of pop, but he found other ways to be successful, right? Johnny Kilbane, an American featherweight, achieved a remarkable feat by reigning as the world featherweight champion from 1912 to 1923, establishing the longest ever tenure in this division's history. In 1912, Kilbane captured the featherweight title in a grueling 20-round fight against Abe Attell. Notably, the boxing regulations of the early 20th century led to several no decisions during his title reign, where only a knockout or disqualification could result in his defeat. Now, while Kilbane faced some setbacks during this historic championship, this historic championship run, including a 3rd-round TKO against Benny Leonard, it's worth noting that these losses occurred outside his weight class, underscoring his dominance within the featherweight division. He had stepped up when he lost to Leonard. And finally, the longest reigning consecutive champion of all time is the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis. Joe Louis Burrow, 12 years. The Brown Bomber maintained his reign until his temporary retirement at the age of 34 in 1948, with a knockout win over Jersey Joe Walcott. Now, Joe Louis holds the distinction of the lengthiest championship reign in the entire history of boxing. His remarkable record includes a run of 26 consecutive title defenses, an unparalleled feat across all weight classes. Lewis ascended to the championship throne at the age of 23, securing the title with a knockout win over James J. Braddock. Following a 2-year hiatus from the ring during the war. This is after this is when he temporarily retired, when he shouldn't have came back. I think he had 4 years out during the war. But following a 2-year hiatus from the ring, he made a comeback, but suffered a second defeat while attempting to recapture his heavyweight titles, contending against Ezra Charles. His illustrious career came to a close after an 8-fight winning streak, culminating in a loss to Rocky Marciano. He had 3 losses in his career, only one during his prime to Max Smelling. He lost to Ezra Charles and Rocky Marciano when he should have been out of the ring by then. But 66 wins, 3 losses. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some of the greatest right crosses in history. Some fighters with the greatest right crosses in history, in the history of boxing. I think. Oh, come on. There we go. Some of the greatest right crosses in history. Come on, man. There we go. Don't start that. Oh, please. Who had the greatest right cross in boxing history? Joe Louis had a pretty good one. Excuse me for a minute. Piece of joke. Okay. Okay. All right, let's do this. We're going to talk about right crosses now in a moment. I promise you. Yeah, who had the greatest right cross? Let's talk about that. And we're going to talk about some good ones. Some good ones. Joe Louis had a good one. And we're going to start out with Joe Louis. As a matter of fact. Okay, let me check the chat. What's going on? Appreciate everybody. Anybody coming? Yeah, no? Okay. Yeah, let's talk about these right crosses. Yeah, Joe Louis had an excellent right cross. There he is, doing it right there. Yeah, that's the right cross. Textbook right cross. Now, Joe Louis had a great right cross that led to knockout after knockout and helped him remain atop the heavyweight division for over a decade. We just talked about that. Now, the esteemed Monty Cox said, historian Monty Cox said Louis had the best right cross of any heavyweight ever. Monty Cox said Joe Louis's right cross, thrown short and straight, was sheer dynamite. No one could put their punches together as beautifully as did Joe Louis. He threw every punch in the book with textbook perfection. The jab, the hook, the cross, and the uppercut. He placed his punches accurately to vital points. The heart, the liver, behind the ear, under the floating rib, and to the chin. His punches were short, often traveling only inches, yet they landed with jolting power. In this extremely important category of punching efficiency, Louis has no peer. Louis also had a great double jab right cross combination, double jab right cross. Louis's right cross figured prominently in his fights against Billy Conn, Jack Sharkey, Primo Carnera, and James J. Braddock. When asked about Louis's right hand, Braddock replied, "It ain't like a punch. It's like someone nailed you with a crowbar. I thought half my head was blowed off when he hit me. I figured he caved it in. After he hit me, I couldn't even feel if it was there. Couldn't feel if his head was still there. After being hit with a left body shot followed by a crushing right cross, Braddock said, "When he hit me with that left-right combination, I could have stayed down on the canvas for 3 weeks." Gilbert Ode wrote in The Great Champions that Joe Louis's jab would snap a man's head back with sickening monotony until he wavered under the steady punishment. Then he was speedily finished off with swift and accurate hooks from both hands, or a finely timed right cross that carried such knockdown force that few who took it could survive. Louis was ice cold in action, rarely wasted a punch, and had an uncanny way of anticipating and avoiding a blow by the merest move of his head. The Brown Bomber. Okay, we're talking about some of the greatest right crosses. How about Sugar Ray Robinson's? Sugar Ray Robinson. There he is on the left. Al Booger in the building. We talked about a number of different subjects today, Al Booger. We just talked about some of the longest title reigns. Now we're talking about some of the best right crosses in boxing history. Joe Louis was first. Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray. Now, Sugar Ray had a great counter right cross that he used to stun the granite chin Gene Foreman. That was the beginning of the end for Foreman in their second fight. Yeah, that's it right there. Foreman and Sugar Ray right there. It was a right cross that sent Rocky Graciano's mouthpiece flying along with his senses. Sugar Ray was one of the all-time best combination punchers, and his right crosses and straight right hands were vital parts of his arsenal. Sugar Ray Robinson, okay? And you know Muhammad Ali. Talking about right crosses. Got to include Muhammad. Muhammad Ali is underrated in this category, if he could actually be underrated. Ali had incredible hand speed and threw rights from unorthodox positions. But who can argue with the results of it? Right? That's all you need to say about Ali. Yeah. Of course, he had a great right cross. The Hitman, Thomas Hearns, ranks this high because they don't call you the Hitman unless you can deliver a lot of pain. Many boxing fans would pick Tommy Hearns first in this category. Okay? Right cross. Any punch from that right hand Thomas Hearns had, though. Vladimir Klitschko had a good one. Right cross. Vladimir Klitschko had single punch knockout power in his right hand. Emanuel Stewart observed, "Vladimir's the most accurate single punch knockout guy I have ever seen. A guy can be completely fine, not hurt. And Vladimir can put his lights out with one shot." Okay, Vladimir Klitschko. Some of the great right crossers. Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston knocked out former heavyweight champion Floyd Patterson in the first round twice, both times with right crosses. He also had a great straight right hand. Sonny Liston did. Big George Foreman. That's the second coming of Big George. That's Michael Moore, and they remember. Big George Foreman in his prime before the Ali loss had a devastating short right cross and short straight right that were absolutely lethal. Foreman lost confidence with the Ali loss. It wasn't the same fighter thereafter, but he was knocking out opponents right and left in the golden age of heavyweights before they rumbled in the jungle. Historian Monty Cox called Foreman the hardest one-punch heavyweight ever. Okay? Talking about some right crosses. Ernie Shavers. Ernie Shavers. There's Ernie. That looked like a right cross. I don't know who that is he fighting. Yeah, but that is the right cross. I don't know who that is. Yeah, but that's probably the end of the fight. With Ernie Shaver's power, that's got to be the end right there for that fight. You look at the guy asleep already. Yeah, that fight couldn't have went any further than that. But Ernie Shavers has been called the most powerful puncher in boxing history. He had 68 of his 74 wins was by knockout, okay? 68 of 74. I can't resist it. 91.8%. Y'all know I had to figure the knockout rate. 68 of 74 wins was knockout. 91.8%. Okay? While Shavers is more famous for his overhand right, his right cross was one of the most numbing and pain-inducing blows ever seen in a squared circle. Yeah, that's a textbook right cross there. Look at that. Textbook. Look at that. Coming right across that jaw. Right cross. Right across that jaw. Right? That's textbook right there. Look at that. Mm-hmm. And the guy is asleep already. Julian Jackson had a good one. Yeah, Julian Jackson. One of the hardest punching non-heavyweights ever. Oh, is that Holmes? Oh, that was Holmes, Al Booker? Okay. It sure is. Yeah, that's Holmes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Larry. Did he knock Larry? I think Larry might have won that fight. So, wow, Larry got a beard on him. If he survived that, he got a beard on him. Wow. That from Shavers? Woo. Yeah, Julian Jackson, but thank you, Al Booker. Yeah, that is Larry Holmes. Now, Julian Jackson won 49 of his 55 fights. All right. Here we go. I can't see a knockout thing without figuring out the knockout rate. 49 of his 50 fights was by knockout. 89% for Julian Jackson. Julian Jackson won 49 of his 55 fights was by knockout. And his lethal right cross was a major reason why. He also had a crushing right hook. And finally, number 10, who else but The Rock? Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano knocked out Jersey Joe Walcott with a devastating right to become a heavyweight champion in their first fight. When Walcott was ahead on points and winning the fight, Rocky needed a knockout. That punch has been called a right hook cross, right hook slash cross, and the hardest punch ever thrown. Marciano shot a right cross over the left guard of Ezra Charles that began his downfall. While Marciano is better known for the overhand right, he called Suzuki. There is no denying the lethality of his right cross. Rocky called the overhand right Suzuki. I call every right hand he throws Suzuki. Yeah, that's Ezra Charles there. Yeah, that's the right cross. Yeah, that's Ezra Charles. Yeah, I call every right hand Rocky Marciano got is Suzuki to me. Okay, so let's look at some great Southpaws. Okay, so today is a few different categories. Let's look at some great Southpaws, some of the greatest Southpaws in boxing history. 12 of the greatest Southpaws in boxing history. Okay. That's Freddie Miller right there. That's Freddie on the right. Look at some great Southpaws. Now the Southpaws force every orthodox fighter to rethink everything he's learned about fighting. To circle right means to circle right into the Southpaw's power punch. Then you've got the headbutts, tripping over feet, that straight left hand. In short, Southpaws are a pain in the ass. Right? Pain in the rear end, excuse my French. Some fighters are excellent against Southpaws. Bernard Hopkins immediately comes to mind. But many fighters struggle to adapt to the unorthodox style, which is why some of the elite lefties are avoided are avoided by like the plague. Avoided by fighters like the plague, you know. I think overhand right a good punch against the southpaw. Overhand. I mean lead right. Yeah, lead right? On that open side against the southpaw's backhand. You maybe get that lead right home before he can get that backhand up the block. So I think the lead right is a good punch against the southpaw. I guess. Right. No bum squad. Yeah, these are all former. I didn't put any actors in there, Al Booker. Yeah, all former. But yeah, you could put bum squad in there. Mm-hmm. Now let's look at some of these southpaws. Okay, Freddie Miller. Freddie Miller fought as a featherweight in the 1920s and 30s. He fought every 15 minutes or so, it seemed like, which is why he compiled an obscene record of 210 wins, 32 losses, 8 draws, 250 fights. He won the featherweight title and defended it successfully 12 times. Now, although not known for his power, he had a heck of a beard. According to BoxRec.com, he was stopped only twice in his 250 fights, right? Yeah, that was 250. 210 and 32 is 42, and 8 is 250. He only stopped twice in 250 fights. Right? Okay. Yvonne Calderon makes it. Almost some great southpaws. Yvonne Calderon. There's Yvonne on the right. The Puerto Rican fighter Calderon was not much of a bomber. In 39 total fights, he recorded just 6 knockouts. But turns out you don't need much pop when you're damn near impossible to hit. Calderon won 35 fights by boxing the pants off other fighters, embarrassing most as he easily cruised to victory. From his pro debut in 2001 until his first loss in 2010, about the only thing as certain as death and taxes was a Calderon win by wide decision. He finally slowed down in 2010 at the age of 35, right? When Giovanni Segura became the first man to defeat him. Iron Boy retired from boxing in 2012, having compiled a record of 35 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. Yvonne Iron Boy Calderon. Talking about some great lefties. Sergio Martinez. Argentine superstar Sergio Martinez fought much of his career in obscurity as a junior middleweight. Avoided by many fighters, he finally popped onto the radar of boxing fans with his draw against Kermit Cintron in 2009. Anyone who remembers that fight knows Sergio should have been awarded the knockout. Now, Cintron complained bitterly about being hit with a headbutt as in an elbow, as in a lead pipe by Martinez, when in reality, it was just a gorgeous punch. Martinez's stock erupted when he housed Paul Williams in their rematch in 2010, 7 months after Martinez lifted the middleweight championship crown from Kelly Pavlik. Yeah, he that overhand left, he stopped Williams with was one of the best one-punch knockouts of all time, right? And then Sergio largely cleaned out the 160-pound division, right? Culminating in his brilliant performance in 2012 against Julio Cesar Chavez. Sergio Martinez. Talking about some great lefties. Flash Elorday. Go back a ways. Gabriel Flash Elorday. Flash Alade was a Filipino fighter who started in the 1950s. He had good size for a featherweight at 5'7", and he used footwork and speed to become world champion. He defeated legendary Sandy Sadler in a non-title fight in 1955. That's him and Sandy Sadler right there. He became the super featherweight champion in 1960 and defended the title for 7 years. He is considered to be one of the greatest Filipino fighters of all time, alongside guys like Manny Pacquiao and the guy I forgot his other, Pancho Villa. Alongside Manny Pacquiao and Pancho Villa, I almost forgot his name. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1993. Joe Calzaghe again, talking about some great lefties. Calzaghe, the pride of Wales, the only undefeated fighter on this list. In fact, he was one of the few elite fighters in boxing history to retire undefeated, right? Now, he wasn't a massive puncher, and he could be hit, but he threw punches from every angle at a ridiculous rate to frustrate and defuse his opponents. He was dropped numerous times in his career, but he had an excellent heart, rising each time to win, right? Calzaghe was also masterful at surging as the fight wore on. Joe Calzaghe. Remember, I told you finished the career off with wins against Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones, and the German fighter. I forgot his name already, too. We just talked about him. Young Corbett III. Talking about some great lefties. Young Corbett III. Young Corbett III was born Rafael Giordano in 1905. He wasted little time before starting his career at the age of 14. He didn't have elite power, but he was a difficult fighter to face because he would throw punches and then maul his opponent before he could retaliate, right? Kind of like an old school Ricky Hatton, right? Now, Corbett scored a win over the legendary Billy Conn in 1937, dropping him in the second round. Now, Conn would avenge the loss by decision just a couple of months later. And young Corbett retired in 1940 with a record of 122 wins, 12 losses, 22 draws. Wow, that's a lot of draws. The great Tiger Flowers. You talking about some great Southpaws? Tiger Flowers. The great Tiger Flowers. We don't have no active fighters on the list. Again. Now, in addition to becoming the first Black American fighter to become middleweight champion, Theodore Tiger Flowers brawled with several excellent fighters before his death at just 32. His record shows that he fought some bad dudes, namely Sam Langford, the toy bulldog Mickey Walker, and Harry Grab. He defeated Grab to win the middleweight title in 1926 and successfully defended it in a rematch before losing a highly controversial fight to Mickey Walker. He died from complications during a surgical procedure. At the time of his death, he was still trying to nab a rematch with Mickey Walker, who is known as one of the greatest fighters of all time. And Tiger was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1993. Career record, 115 wins, 14 losses, 6 draws. Hector Camacho, great Southpaws, the Macho Man, Hector Macho Camacho. Macho Camacho was not a subtle guy. He fought like a wild man in the ring, and he lived like one outside of it. Nassim Hamed owes quite a bit to Camacho, who danced his way to the ring and then pounded the daylights out of his opponents. Camacho often eschewed the jab, instead relying on speed and furious power punching to overwhelm his opponents. He was the first boxer to win titles in 7 divisions, a feat that is impressive even in an age of trinket belts. He boasts wins over Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard, though both were well past their primes when they happened. He also fought Julio Cesar Chavez and Oscar De La Hoya. Unfortunately, the wild Puerto Rican never slowed down. He was arrested numerous times before being murdered in 2012. Ended his career 78 wins, 6 losses, 3 draws. Hector Camacho. Vicente Saldivar. We're talking about some great Southpaws. Vicente Saldivar. We got one more category. We're going to talk about the tallest fighters. Tomorrow is going to be Brazil on the countries. Vicente Saldivar. The Mexican Vicente Saldivar was a beast in the ring, often using a nasty 1-2 combination to drill his opponents. He was a typical relentless Mexican fighter using a body attack to weaken his foes before finishing them later in the fight, right? Saldivar scored his signature victory in 1964 when he defeated future Hall of Fame inductee and fellow Mexican Sugar Ramos. He lost twice late in his career after coming back from a brief retirement. Finished his career with a record of 37 wins, 3 losses, 26 knockouts. He was inducted posthumously into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1999. Manny Pacquiao makes it. Great Southpaws. The Pac-Man. The Pac-Man. There's him and Ricky Hatton. The Pac-Man. Okay. Now, June 23rd, 2001 was supposed to be a coming out party for Lalo Lewaba in Las Vegas on HBO. Instead, he was steamrolled by a young Filipino fighter named Manny Pacquiao, who took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. Right? Manny Pacquiao ended up becoming an 8th Division World Champion in the International Hall of Fame. And he just fought a couple of weeks ago. Remember? Manny Pacquiao. Pernell Whitaker, number 2 on the list of great lightweights. Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. 1984 Olympic gold medalist Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker is arguably the greatest defensive fighter of all time. He dazzled opponents with quick counter shots and a rapid-fire jab. He was a master at tagging his foe with a combination and then safely sneaking away before he could be touched. As is often the case with defensive-minded fighters, he was on the receiving end of some brutal judging, beginning with his first pro loss against Jose Ramirez. He received a draw against the legendary Julio Cesar Chavez. The scoring was universally bad, with many feeling Whitaker was robbed of an easy win. Considered one of the best lightweights of all time, Whitaker retired in 2001 with a record of 40 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. Became a trainer after his career before he passed away. And number 1, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Southpaws. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. That's him and Sugar Ray, I believe, right? Marvelous Marvin Hagler is not only the greatest southpaw fighter, he's one of the greatest of all time, regardless of stance. He was also a switch hitter. The New Jersey native pounded his way to a record of 62 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws, defending the middleweight championship 12 times during one of the most competitive eras in the division in boxing history. I don't know why I didn't have him on the longest reigns. Hagler boasts wins over Roberto Duran and monster puncher John the Beast Mugabe. Hagler could box effectively, but he enjoyed brawling, and he could switch it. He often switched seamlessly from southpaw to an orthodox stance during a fight. He had good power and he could take a punch as well as anyone, right? And he did this. Hagler retired after his controversial 1987 loss to Sugar Ray Leonard. Regardless of who you think won the fight, we can all agree that Judge Jojo Guerrero's card of 118 to 110 for Leonard is as pathetic as a card ever was, right? 118 to 110 for either one of them. That fight was ridiculous. And Hagler was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1993. Okay, I got an interesting thing. How do you successfully fight a counterpuncher? Now, Marcos Madonna did a good job when he fought Floyd because he countered the counter. But let's talk about that. How do you fight a counterpuncher? There's Marcos Madonna and Floyd. Marcos hitting Floyd right in the nose. That was a tough fight, that first one. But to Floyd's credit, he rematched him right away. Went right back in there with him. You give Floyd a lot of credit for that, right? Okay, let's talk about that. Fighting the counterpuncher successfully. Okay. This is the hump day. Tomorrow we're going to talk about boxing in Brazil as we go around the world to different countries. Okay. So the question is, how can you beat a counterpuncher in boxing? To answer this effectively, you had to first ask exactly what is a counterpuncher. Now, a counterpuncher is the fighter that waits for his or her opponent to move first. Now, Archie Moore, the old mongoose, according to the site The Bleacher Report, was the greatest counterpuncher in boxing history. The article said Moore used a shoulder roll and a cross-arm guard to make himself nearly impregnable defensively. And just as the mongoose draws the cobra forward to its own doom, Moore would lead his opponents in the perfect position for his dangerous power counters. In his career, like I said, Moore knocked out 132 opponents, the second most in boxing history. Now, as with Archie Moore, the counterpuncher generally attacks only after his opponent attacks, okay? He doesn't want to commit himself until he sees your first move. Now, fighting a beginner boxer that likes to wait is easy. A beginner counterpuncher, all you have to do is throw punches and never give him a chance to counter, right? But beating a skilled counterpuncher, however, is a totally different story. Counterpunchers are notoriously difficult to beat if they have boxing ability, such as a high ring IQ like a Floyd, right? They have a high ring IQ, adaptability, speed, reflexes, and footwork. Unless you fight a smart and careful fight and know how to adapt as necessary, you'll be picked apart and humiliated. Now, before you can beat the counterpuncher or any fighter, you must first learn their style and why they use that style. So why is your opponent waiting for you to move and counter? Is it because he's faster than you or more skilled than you? Is it to time your punches? Whether or not the counterpuncher is truly more skilled than the opponent is not the point. It's that he appears to be prepared for that opponent. He's prepared both to defend and counterattack. There are essentially two types of counterpunchers. The slickest and most dangerous fighters are often counterpunchers because they know how to set dangerous traps for an opponent to walk into. The other kind of counterpuncher is just the guy who has chosen to defend for any number of reasons. He doesn't want to trade punches. He may not even want to fight. He may not even want to be in the ring at all. He might be injured, exhausted, or know he is weaker than his opponent. Now, the easiest way to defeat a counterpuncher is avoid his counters. But that is far easier said than done. If he is faster and or more skilled, avoiding counters is a no-go from the start, right? From the jump. The more difficult way is use feints to draw his counter and then counter his counters, right? Use the feint, draw the counter, counter the counter. This also is far more easily said than done. Use small movements instead of large ones and try to time his counters. Use body punches because they will force his counter punches into blocking those punches instead of merely slipping and ducking, okay? Because the body ain't moving, right? Going to the body will force him to block him instead of merely like slipping, moving the head, ducking. Yeah, use body punches is one way. Any fighter facing a skilled counter puncher must also be in tip-top shape. You will be in for a long night of constant movement. And if you are not conditioned for that, you have lost before it even begins. Okay? You're fighting a losing battle. Just remember what Floyd Patterson wrote about fighting counterpunches 50 years ago. Floyd Patterson wrote, "The key to fighting a counterpuncher is to remember always what punches he throws are almost completely dependent on what punches you throw, right? So the best way to defeat a counterpuncher is counter his counters, which disrupts his entire fighting style. And those are the real facts, right? So that's how you fight a counterpuncher. So, how do you fight a power puncher? Okay. What makes a boxer particularly effective against power punchers? Now, no one is particularly effective against big punches. Joe Frazier and Ken Norton, who both beat Muhammad Ali and gave him tough 12 and 15 round fights in rematches when they lost to him. Both were destroyed by George Foreman in 2 rounds each, right? Roberto Duran, who won titles in 4 weight classes and was legendary for his granite chin and ability to slip punches, was knocked out by Thomas Hearns in 2 rounds. Okay? Billy Conn gave Joe Louis a boxing lesson for 12 rounds. All Billy had to do was coast to an easy decision and score a huge upset, right? And win the title. He got the brilliant idea that he was going to knock out Louis. Bad idea. Instead, Louis knocked him out in the 13th round. Jersey Joe Walcott was way ahead on points when Rocky Marciano knocked him out in the 13th round. George Foreman's left eye was almost swollen shut, right? All Michael Moorer had to do was coast to an easy decision. He decided to fight in the pocket against Foreman, right? And he ended up getting knocked out. And Teddy Atlas was screaming at him not to go toe-to-toe with Foreman, seconds before George landed a big splitter straight right hand. Moorer was still on the floor being attended to while Big George was talking to the media. Okay? Moorer was still on the floor while Foreman was talking to the media. That's what they call a puncher's chance. They can win by knockout at any time with one punch. There's 3 ways to avoid this. One is a gift. Either you can take a punch or you can't. Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, George Chuvalo, Chuck Webner, Oliver McCall, Jake LaMotta, Marvin Hagler are all legendary for their granted chins. That's a God-given gift. You can't teach chin, right? Like in football, you can't teach speed. You can't teach chin. That's the God-given gift, right? Cannot be developed. The second thing is stay away from them. Box. Use your jab to keep them at arm's length. Hit and run, right? Third, learn the art of rolling with the punches. Roberto Duran was a master at this, as was Marvin Hagler. You could hit them, but not easily or often. And when you hit them, it was hard to hit them flush because when the punch landed, they were always usually already moving away, right? It was rare that they took a power shot full force. Unfortunately, for some short-arm fighters that need to get inside to be effective, doing this can be a problem, especially if the big puncher has a reach advantage. That's why Sonny Liston twice wiped the floor with Floyd Patterson in 1 round, and why George Foreman knocked out Joe Frazier in 2 rounds and 5 rounds, respectively. That's why Duran was knocked out by Hearns. Even though they were in the same weight class, Duran was 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. Hearns was 6'1" with a 78-inch reach, and was known for his thunderbolt right hand. The best way to outbox a big puncher is don't let him tee off on you. But again, that's easier said than done, right? That's another thing that's easier said than done, right? Stay away from those big punches. And then, like I was saying, if you're the smaller man who has to get inside, perfect example, Hearns and Duran. No way Duran was going to outbox Hearns from the outside. I just told you Duran was 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. Hearns was 6'1" with a 78-inch reach. What's that? Like, give him up like 6 inches and 6 inches in height and 12 inches in reach. So Duran had to get inside. So Duran and Hearns will fight 10 times, and I think the same thing will happen 10 times, an early knockout for Hearns, because Duran got to get inside. So he have to put himself in harm's way to even have a chance. And with that right hand Hearns got, he would catch Duran every time. That's just one of those cases where, you know, styles. Styles make fights, and that one is just a bad style matchup for Duran. Same thing with Frazier and Foreman. You know, Frazier will never beat Foreman. He could fight a million times. Will never beat George Foreman, just giving up too much size. And with that right hand, with that power Foreman had, you know, him and Frazier fought twice, a total of 7 rounds in 2 fights, and I think Frazier got knocked down like 8 times in the 2 fights. Yeah, that's a bad style matchup, you know, for him. But yeah, it's hard. Yeah, you got to have either have a good chin, or be able to roll with the punches good, or just try to stay away, you know. Because like people always say this, people say, well, we don't have enough pop to keep them off, but you can keep a person off with more than pop movement, you know. Stay the hell away. Don't try to stand there and use your pop and slug it out and keep them off. Move. Or if you get too close, grab him. Right? So yeah. Tomorrow we're going to talk about Brazil. Tomorrow is the countries, right? And we're going to see what's happening in Brazil as far as boxing. With some good boxers that came out of Brazil too. Okay. We got 15 minutes left. We can chop it up for 15 minutes if I can't get the stuff. Oh, there it is. Invite. I can't. Where my glasses at? Okay. Real quick. Let me get this in there. But this is Hump Day. What's up, Terry Akers? My favorite sister-in-law's in the building. Oh, it's okay. Better late than never, Terry. Good to see you today. Yeah. We just talked about a few different things concerning boxing history today. But salute, Terry. At least you in here. Miss Cass and the next woman ain't even in the chat, Terry. At least you in here. Miss Cass done checked out on me. You way across town and you in there. She and the next woman didn't even show up. She said hello in the beginning though, so. I don't think we got too much going on this weekend. I think it's a card Friday. I don't know too much about anybody that's fighting this weekend, but it's boxing. We are fans. You know, we just love the sport. But we got some good stuff coming up. Next month is September. You know what happened September 13th? Canelo and Bud Crawford. I still got Canelo. I saw Bud, a video of him a couple days ago. Bud is huge. Is that a mistake to get huge like that? I don't know. I know Boo Boo did that against Benavidez, and it didn't work too well for him. Bud was huge. Wow. I had to look twice and really make sure that was him. Anybody seen Bud lately? Wow. The guy's huge, man. He said he walks the streets like 170 something, so, you know. And then he don't have to cut as much, so hey, it might be a positive, who knows? I don't know. But the good thing is we are going to see September 13th. September 13th. Just about a month, because today is the 6th. A month and 1 week exactly. Bud and Canelo fight. 1 month and 1 week away. Exactly. September 13th. Today is the August 6th, right? 1 month and 7 days away. Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. Did I say I had Canelo? Oh, yeah, it's late. I put the link in too late. I got to get out of here at 4 o'clock. But I appreciate everybody that came through today for another Cast Sports. We're going to talk about Brazil tomorrow, though. Yeah. Boxing in Brazil. We're going through the countries on Thursdays. Got a show next week about knockout artists. 50 of the greatest knockout artists of all time. I don't know who the profile is going to be Friday yet, but we're going to look at somebody's life and career Friday. Getting close. After today is all downhill to the end of the week. And time needs to slow down. This is going by too fast. There's Define Arnie 1. What's up, Define Irony 1? In the building. Okay. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good, thank you. We got Friday Mirko Cuello, who's a top prospect from Argentina.
Okay.
He's number 1 in Nick Paul, where Nick Paul is champion.
What weight class is that? You know?
Featherweight.
Featherweight? Okay. Yeah. I don't know too much about him.
That's WBO. He had an amazing fight in the Benavidez and Morel undercard. It was the last fight of the prelims.
Okay.
That's how I knew him.
Yeah,
really.
I missed it. Yeah. That's why you got to
And,
watch them prelims sometimes. You see some good young fighters on there, man,
yeah,
you know?
Carmel Mutton fought on those prelims too.
Right, he did. He did. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But you're right. There are not too many, not too much outside of that, you know. So next Saturday is the Tauma, you know, and Nick Ball, etc.
Oh yeah, Nick Ball and right and what was the guy? Sam.
Goodman.
Yeah, that's next weekend. That's a big
Yes.
one. Yeah,
And Ray Force there too against Nova.
that's a good matchup there.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, people are sleeping on that one. But Nova gave Foster fits.
Yes, he did. That was a great fight.
Yeah,
I like that fight, him and Ford. What you think about that? You got any kind of opinion on that yet?
I think it's gonna be fight of the night. I'm going with Nova.
No. Okay.
But I do like Ray Ford a lot, so I think they're gonna for sure steal the show.
Yeah. Wow. What about Nick Ball and Goodman? What you got on that?
I mean Goodman, he pulled out twice against Naoya Inoue.
Yeah.
So I mean I understand that he's undefeated. I mean we'll see. He got to show me something, because when you do stuff like that, man, I mean you're not gonna get an opportunity like Naoya Inoue to offer.
I know.
You know.
And now he getting another title opportunity. But Ball gonna bring that pressure to him. I like Nick Ball. Yeah.
I don't. Okay, so I love his fight against Ray Ford and Ray Vargas too.
I picked him to beat Ray Ford. Nick Ball, yeah.
That was a hell of a fight, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna fare too well against the other champions, to be honest.
Nah, I don't think so. Once he gets in there with another, especially somebody like Espinosa, I don't even see any way he can win it.
Espinosa has like a foot height difference.
I don't see any way Ball could win that fight. You know, I just don't see it. You know.
Me neither. And Leo, I think Leo gets him too, and Fulton as well.
Fulton. Mm-hmm. And
hey, you're a champion, bro. You're a world champion, so I gotta give you that much, you know.
Yeah.
Whether I like him or not.
I picked him to beat Ford. I thought Ford had pulled it out when they actually fought, though, but it was a good fight. So, yeah.
I could have gone either way, to be honest with you. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember it. You know.
That was a great fight.
Oh yeah.
And Ford wasn't listening to his corner. Remember, I think it was the second round. He said, "I know what I'm." His corner was telling him something. And he said, "I know what I'm doing," or something. I was like, "What?" But why do you have him over there then? And after the fight, he admitted that he said, "I didn't listen to my corner," and it cost him in the post-fight interview. Yeah.
He was very drained for that fight, because if I'm not mistaken, right after that fight, he moved up in division. You know,
I thought he stayed one fight too long at 120.
No doubt. No doubt.
I thought he did, but he got paid, you know, because that was the reality season thing. So
exactly, that's my thing with Sam Goodman. I mean, if I'm getting caught and the commission allows it, I'm stepping in just for the money. I don't give a shit if he knocks me out in the first round, bro. Like, how many other times are you going to be able to fight this guy?
And get that purse. That's right. Yep.
Because there's no way that you're getting paid more against Nick Ball than you are with Naoya Inoue.
No way.
I just can't believe it.
No way. And he wasn't going to win. He should have just took the payday, you know. But maybe what was supposed to have been the problem? What kind of injury did he have, you know? Was it an injury?
It was a cut. It was a bad cut in sparring.
Oh. Maybe he probably really couldn't fight then. But why didn't they just reschedule it?
Right, exactly.
Did they schedule Inoue and MJ yet?
Yeah. Actually, hang on a second, because I think I saw it.
He said that was his next fight after his last one. Anyway,
yes. I remember they said that, but
you haven't seen it on the schedule yet.
Yes.
I'm waiting on him and Nakatani to fight.
That's the fight. That's the fight, but I will tell you this. I wouldn't want to see that fight before MJ, because MJ just deserves it, bro. He's been God knows how long has been.
Yeah, he's going to get it first. Yeah.
September 24th says here. Give me one.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, it seems like a fair guy. He's giving MJ a shot. Yeah. Yeah.
It's about time. I mean, listen, I love Naoya, obviously. Who doesn't? But your level of opposition as of late pales in comparison to Usyk and Crawford, bro.
Yeah, for sure. You think we ever gonna get him in Nakatani?
It has to happen. If that fight doesn't happen, I'd be serious, unless somebody gets knocked out or
one of them have to lose first. I doubt
if
that
fight doesn't happen. I'll be so disappointed. Oh,
that'd be huge in Japan. Wow.
Yes, but the whole world. I think the whole world will watch that fight.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna miss that one. Everything I'll have to stop everything for that one.
There's several fights because I'm very interested in MJ too. Because let's not sleep on MJ. MJ is a really good southpaw too.
Yeah, we can't look past him. No, can't look past him. Wouldn't it be something if he could beat Monster? And wow. I want to see Monster and Nakatani, but I don't know. I might lean toward Nakatani in that one.
Me too.
I
was just about to say that. I mean, I'm so high on Junto Nakatani, bro. You know, man. I mean, like, he's got to be top 3 favorite fighter to me right now. Because that guy is just unreal, man. I'm telling you.
When I did my pound for pound last week, I put Nakatani on it. I put him in the top 10. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he deserves it because he just unified too.
A lot of people don't include him though. It's top 10. I don't see why.
I have the lower weight syndrome.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Because he just unified.
If he was like welterweight or something, man, he would be top 5.
Oh man, they would have him in Mount Rushmore.
It's the weight class. Yep. That's a shame though, man, because got some great fighters down there. Bam.
Yeah. Bam, I'll give Bam credit because Bam is the only that I can think of, the only fighter that is from USA that has.
And he gets his credit. Most people will put Bam in the top 10. He gets his credit.
A lot of people are paying attention to those classes because of Bam. So I gotta
give exactly because of him. Yup. That is so true. Yeah, that is so true. Yeah.
You said you don't have a profile yet for Friday?
Nah. You got one for me?
I got a couple of ideas. Have you done Larry Holmes?
I don't think so. I was thinking about that's funny because I was thinking about Larry Holmes too.
I can give you like 3 or some names, and then you can just obviously.
Okay. I got my pen ready. Larry Holmes.
We got Larry Holmes. We got. Have you done Sergio Martinez?
No, I haven't done Sergio. Nope.
Let's see. Have you done? What's the name of this guy?
Sergio.
Okay. Have you done Nassim Hamed?
Nope. Haven't done him either. Those are 3 good ones. Yeah.
I'm trying to go through like a spectrum of national.
It's going to definitely be one of them
weight classes.
Yeah. It's going to be one of them.
Yeah, those 3. Gotcha.
Yeah. You got some more? But let me be one of them 3.
Oh, shit.
But let me, just let me know. And yeah.
Yeah, I'll write in comment or something.
Yeah, I did the thing on the White Muhammad Quabi. I didn't know he had passed away until you had said it that Friday. I mean, you said it that Monday, rest in peace, in the chat. I was like, the White Muhammad, I didn't even know he had passed away until then. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah, a couple of Fridays ago, yeah. I did a little thing on him that following week. Yeah. Man.
Have you done Gene Tunney?
Gene, I think so. Okay. But I'm gonna write him. I'm gonna check.
Have you done Floyd Patterson?
No, I haven't done Floyd. I haven't done none of them. You coming up with some good names now, Tunney.
There's a bunch of fighters. I mean, if you haven't done 5 of them, it's fine.
I try to jump back and forth. I'd like do an old school fighter, then do one more closer to this era,
Yes, and then you can do a female like you did with Amanda. That's good. That's a good juggling.
Yeah, Amanda. That was people like. I got a lot of views on that one. People like that one. Amanda.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cause she's still active and everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about that third fight, her and Katie?
Disappointing. Katie won.
Yeah.
You know,
I was pulling for her.
Me too. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
I became a fan of Katie Taylor too. So I was pretty much down the middle.
I still thought Amanda won the first two though.
You know, I thought he won the second one. The first one, I gotta watch it again. But I remember the first two were a coin toss, basically.
Yeah, man. If they had those 3 minutes, she would have stopped Katie in that first. I think it was like definitely that fifth round.
Yes.
She had her ready to go, but then the bell saved her. You only got 2 minutes. I hate that. The 2-minute nonsense.
Yeah, me too.
And Amanda was fighting 3 minutes, and I think it was Katie.
No, it was Amanda for sure. Yeah.
Amanda wanted the 2 minutes?
No. The Amanda has been saying 3 minutes and 12 rounds forever.
Yeah. She actually did it a couple times, remember?
Yeah.
With Jake. That's why she dropped the WBC, because Mauricio wouldn't sanction him. He's talking about some kind of danger and getting hurt. I don't know what he's talking about. You can get hurt just as fast in 10 rounds, 2 minutes, and you can in 12 rounds, 3 minutes. What's the difference? 1 minute.
You know, that guy Suleiman, the Penguin, as I call him. You know, if he's moving his lips, he's lying.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't like Mauricio. Yeah. His father was even more unpopular than he is. I forgot his father. He used to run it before him.
How do you say the apple don't fall too far from the tree?
Right. That's a good example there. Yeah. Perfect example. Yeah. Well, I haven't talked to you since last weekend. What about what you think about last weekend? Regis and JoJo and Oscar Duarte and
Sims disappointed me a little bit. I think he didn't use his jab nearly as much as he should have, because he kept going through the ropes and he kept making Duarte's fight. You know.
Yeah. He didn't move as much as I thought he would have. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he at times he hit him with combinations and everything, but he did that too little. I mean, how do you say, like in spots, you know, not nearly as much as he should have, you know, because he clearly had a mile of hand speed advantage.
Yeah, he did.
But man, and Duarte, same old Duarte, you know, just throwing 5,000 punches and connecting 50. You know, but the Prograis fight was good, but I don't think he has a chin left anymore, because he got robbed way too many times in that fight. Yeah,
one of those young guys would have stopped him for sure, because JoJo was rocking him. And a couple of times JoJo would have had more time. That would have been it. You know, he got him at the end of the round a couple of times. You know, and that first round, he really had him hurt in that first round. Remember that first time?
Oh man, I was like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah. Wow. But I think JoJo, I don't think he's finished. I think he earned another payday. But maybe it's just him and two old guys. But I don't know what they would do against some of the younger fighters. You know what I mean? Maybe just had that type of performance against each other. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, because Carmel Mutton was calling out Regis, and I was like, no, if I'm Regis, don't take that fight, because you're going to get decapitated, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart for Carmel to do that, because Regis still has, you know, quite a name.
Yeah.
He has quite a name.
Yeah.
And
that'd be a good name for Carmel, Regis. Yeah. At this point in his career, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, he gave prime Josh Taylor fits.
Yeah.
And, you know, he got his ass whooped against Devin Haney. What are you going to do? But in general, he's he gave Jack Catterall a tough fight, I think.
That was his last really, really good fight.
Yeah, that was his last hurrah.
After that, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you though. Like Kamel Moten. I agree. Kamel Moten might be bad for me. Might be bad. You know. No, I wouldn't take that one.
No
Who
way.
would you think would be good for Regis if he, another fight for Regis?
Honestly, I don't know. That's a good question because if I'm Regis, I am either retiring, but he said he wants to get another payday. So, that's a good question.
I would go so far as to say that JoJo's future looked brighter than Regis's at this point.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Coming out of that fight, yeah. Plus, JoJo is only 32. I think. What was Regis like? 36?
35 or 36, yeah.
Yeah, JoJo is only 32, so I don't know why they kept saying he was so close to being finished and everything. That's not that old.
Right.
Crawford is what? Well, JoJo ain't Crawford, but Crawford is what, 38, something like that.
Yeah, but he's a very young 38. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Usyk is 30. Usyk, I think, is 38 too, or 37. Yeah. He's very young for his age.
He didn't took a lot of punishment and stuff. Met in a whole bunch of wars and stuff, Yeah. Is Usyk? I don't see anything else Usyk needs to do though.
Nah, me neither. But I've said that before, so who knows at this point?
I know. But I'm really true now. Once he got past, went back and rematched Dubois and beat him. What else? He don't really need to do nothing else now. He silenced everybody about that Dubois situation, right? So,
well, the thing is that the thing is that apparently Usyk has called out Deontay Wilder, and I understand. Yeah, and I understand it from this standpoint, only from this standpoint. He has beaten Fury and AJ, so he wants to be the only man to ever beat all three.
I can see that, yeah. However,
the flip side to that is, you got Joe Parker that deserves a shot more than basically anybody in boxing.
Definitely Wilder. Parker beat Wilder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he, it's not. I mean, I understand it's a lot more money in fighting Deontay that it is Parker. Unfortunately,
Yeah. Carvalho, all those guys deserve a shot before Wilder.
Exactly.
Agit Carvalho, yeah. But the money.
You know who I'm thinking for Regis? Well, Oscar Duarte.
Okay, for Regis?
I mean, he's, as far as like knockout threat, I mean, Oscar Duarte does have heavy hands, but you should see those punches coming from a mile away.
Yeah. But you're gonna get hit, and the way Regis' chin is now.
Yes.
Duarte gonna get something in, and that might be all it takes for Regis is one good one. Duarte punched a lot harder than JoJo,
That is very true.
That might be a good one.
Or just going through the division here. That's 140. I mean, I guess Jermaine Ortiz or Hito Mercado, maybe.
Duarte wouldn't be bad. He said he's definitely going to fight again, so he got to come up with somebody. He don't want no Gary Antoine Russell or none of them type of guys.
No, that's for sure. He's gonna get pieced up in that one.
He was Mercado. That might be bad for him too. Mercado would stop him.
See, this is what makes me angry. You got Subriel Matias as champion, and then you got Isaac Cruz interim, but you got Dalton Smith #1 over Sandor Martin, bro. How is that even possible? I don't get it.
What the hell is he over Martin?
I mean, my goodness.
I barely know who Dalton Smith is. Is he from the UK?
Yeah.
Okay,
He doesn't deserve that fight. I know they got him in the ring and everything. Nah, man.
No. Not over Sandor.
He does have a lot of fun, though. So, you know.
You can't sleep on Sandor Martin.
To me, outside of Shakur Stevenson, Sandor Martin is as hard to hit as anybody.
And his southpaw, coming from his southpaw stance too, you know. Yeah. It's ex-T.O. He had T.O. questioning himself.
Yes.
I still have it.
And I think personally, I saw him beating Puello. That's just
me. Who, T.O.?
T.O. and Puello. He beat them both and got robbed. Especially T.O. T.O. to me was clear as day. Puello was close. Puello was really close, actually. But T.O., I mean, he even dropped him. He dropped him and everything. So,
he always in good fights, though, Martin is.
Yeah, he's as slick as they come, but he's not from a boxing country, so he doesn't have this leverage that other fighters have, you know.
Yeah, and get those close decisions. Most of it, he don't get them. You know, he don't have that name.
This mass following behind them, or
follow the money. You know, but he earned some other good opportunities, so you can at least. But I don't know how they put this guy Dalton Smith in front of him. That's crazy. Wow,
unbelievable.
Well, they let him fight. See who come out on top. Probably would be Martin.
Right, I'm all for that, though. I'm all for that. Let them fight. And to be honest with you, what I think should happen in heavyweight, if Usyk wants to fight Wilder, go ahead and make Parker versus Caballero, and whoever wins gets the final shot at Usyk. And then Usyk
winner versus winner. That's right.
I mean, if you wanna go to the fairest thing to do, well, the fairest thing to do is to give it to Parker. To be honest with you, but since that's not happening, let Parker and Caballero, who's the next guy that deserves it.
That would be a good matchup, Parker and Caballero.
It would be a hell of a fight, to be honest.
Yeah. Yes, it would. And then the winner get Usyk. That would be fair.
Absolutely.
Usyk might just retire after Wilder, though. You know.
Most likely. I would retire today, but you know.
What's he getting up there? He's getting up there. He's 38, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. He's already the Hall of Fame, had a Hall of Fame career. His legacy set. He was Hall of Fame before he fought Dubois, and he already had that, you know.
Absolutely. The only guy who wanted to do that guys twice? Are you kidding me? And he's the smallest and the oldest. And he beat all of them.
Beat all of them. Came from cruiserweight. Did he start at cruiserweight or light heavyweight? Cruiserweight?
Cruiserweight, yeah.
Cruiserweight, okay. Yeah. One of the best cruiserweights ever, for sure.
Yeah.
Him and Holyfield.
It's either him or Evander, in my opinion.
Both of them, those at the top, they're at the top. No question, not even arguable. Nobody else could even be in the conversation.
I don't know if they're alone at the top, but I know they're at the top.
Yeah. Somebody else might be a close third, but those are the top two, I would say.
We're probably forgetting a few guys, but Mount Rushmore, 4 guys, you know, there's 2 left. Those 2 are in there.
Yeah.
And Petaya, speaking of cruiserweights, you know, Petaya, we'll see what happens, because I want to see, one of the fights that I most want to see outside of Inoue and Nakatani is Petaya and Zurdo, but I don't know.
I know, they got to fight. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like Inoue and Nakatani, Petaya and Zurdo in the same situation. They have to fight.
That's looking very fishy, though. I'm not sure, because it doesn't seem like Oscar is too keen on to be honest with you, it doesn't seem like Oscar got too much faith on his boy.
I know, because as much as Oscar wanted to smoke, he kind of protects his fighters. You know, when he was fighting, he wanted to fight everybody, but he don't treat his fighters that same way. I can understand.
And they're definitely going to leverage the fact that Zurdo got 2 belts and Petaya got 1.
Yeah, that's true. But let him fight. Petaya will have 3.
I don't
What's
know. I
their
think they're gonna make an offer. They're gonna make one of these ridiculous offers. You know, you're gonna have to fight hometown. You know, everything is gonna be against them, including the money.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Oscar knows. Oscar
Oh yeah.
knows. Because, Obataille will do him just like Bivol did him. Remember when they were at light heavy, when Zerto was at light heavyweight and went there against Bivol?
Exactly.
He had to put a boxing clinic on him. That will be the same type of fight with Obataille, I think.
Oh yeah.
You know. Yes. Oscar knows. He was a fighter. He got that
Oh
eye.
yeah. And a darn good one. Oh yeah.
Yeah. He knows. What do you think about Virgil and Keith Thurman coming up?
Man, that was a surprise. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Thurman. I don't think it's good for Thurman. I understand it from Virgil's standpoint because, to be honest with you, he's been in a few wars himself, so he deserves to take a fight that's on paper doesn't look as complicated as Boachuk or Madrimov, you know.
Yeah. I thought Keith was done. Thurman. I thought he was finished.
He beat Brock Jarvis. Remember, he had that performance against Brock Jarvis, and I was very excited for Thurman versus Tim Tszyu, but that didn't happen. So
no.
I mean, I guess I congratulate Thurman because I don't really see much of a shot for him, to be honest with you.
But you know, Keith seemed like sometimes he have a problem with them body punches and going against Virgil. Wow.
Exactly, like that.
Turning. Wow. You know, remember he spit his mouth.
He's going for it, man. He's going for it. That's for sure.
Who did spit his mouthpiece out against Barrios, didn't he? Was it Barrios? So imagine Virgil. Wow.
And
catch him in the
body. I mean, I gotta salute Thurman. As controversial as some of his decisions have made in the past. I mean, not decisions in a fight. I'm talking about his decisions, you know, like ducking Errol Spence, ducking Crawford, and disrespecting Manny Pacquiao the way that he did, and you know, so on and so forth.
I know.
I gotta salute him because the Sean Porter fight to me was so amazing. Like anytime you give me a fight that I remember, I give you as much benefit of the doubt as I can. You know?
Yeah, that was a good one. One of the better ones from that era. And all of them retired, and Keith's still going. Porter,
yes.
Bradley, all them guys from that time.
Yeah, Danny Garcia. Robotnikov, all of them.
Still going strong. You know, when he had that long layoff and was doing a little commentating, I thought he was finished, but he actually came back and got back in the ring.
Me too. Oh, I think he also had an accident or something.
I think he did. I remember something about that. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah. There's another good fight on that card too. With him and Virgil, the co-main. I can't remember who it was.
You mean Thurman and Virgil? Let's see.
Yeah, it was another good fight on there too. Just Dude was talking about it yesterday. I can't remember who it was now. A very good match.
Oh, I forgot. It's Frank Martin and Barbosa.
Yeah. Was it Martin and Barbosa?
I'm going with Martin for that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, good fight.
I don't like Barbosa.
For Frank, yeah. Because Barbosa just that fight was Tio, right?
Yeah, he did poorly, very poorly, in my opinion. And,
that'd be a good bounce back for Frank after Tank, you know.
To be honest, yes, exactly. That's a great opponent selection because Barbosa doesn't have knockout threat, like obviously that Tank does. But I think Barbosa didn't do so good against Catterall either. It's just that Catterall didn't do anything. That's the problem.
Yeah. Never really been sold on Catterall that much, you know. His biggest album
give me just a few minutes. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta do something.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna you still there? Yeah, Josh Taylor's biggest hour was Catterall was the Josh Taylor situation. But other than that, what has he done? But that's a good matchup, Frank and Barbosa. We'll see what happens. What's up, Mike Rim? Mike Rim says, because Keith, he wasn't fighting. I thought he was finished, Mike. I thought he had went to commentating. But hey, he's back in there. But Virgil, with Keith body problems, taking them body punches, damn, that might not end too good. It might be a body punch that finishes him. Oh man. But Keith still can move, got a little escapability and stuff, so I don't know. They might can play keep away. But it's boxing, you're gonna get hit. Pound for pound.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Cass.
Yeah, we're gonna go for there's somebody. We're gonna go for like 10 minutes more. Pound for pound can okay. Oh, there you go. What's up, pal? You must have just got back to me.
Peace, bro.
Hey, how are you? We got an echo. Go out and come back in real quick.
I think he has the YouTube on at the same time.
Yeah, that does that. Yeah, that does that.
Because if you put the sound on, I think that if you put the sound on YouTube at the same time that you put StreamYard, like you have to mute YouTube otherwise.
Testing.
Mute YouTube if you can.
You good now?
Oh.
Testing. Yeah, everything good. How are you today?
Striving to be peace, brother. Striving to be at peace.
Yeah, how long was you? I didn't know you was backstage.
I'm about to just roll this L right now, smoke this weed, just talk some boxing with y'all, man. Just, it's my little therapy right here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're gonna go for like 10 more minutes. We will get ready, but since you're here, we go for a little while. We were just talking about some fights coming up, and we was talking about Virgil and Keith Thurman and Frankie Barbosa. What do you think about that Virgil and Keith Thurman?
I'm not gonna sleep on Keith Thurman because I kind of like fast movers, and Keith used to be a fast mover. But his last fight, he wasn't doing too much moving in his last fight. He was sitting down and banging. But compared to his opponent, now that's not a Virgil Ortiz though. So I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know what's gonna happen.
And bang
I don't want to sleep on Keith Thurman because that's my favorite style though. Like movers like Hector Camacho, Rigondeaux, Thurman. These guys are movers. That's what I love. I love moving. As far as boxing, you're gonna see me moving and switching. So I relate to these guys. So I'm kind of like leaning to Thurman because I like that style. He's a cool guy. I always been rocking with Thurman. Know what I mean? But
can he do that for the whole fight anymore?
Huh?
Do you have the stamina to move like that for an entire fight anymore?
I'm not sure, brother. I just know when he got touched to the body, and anytime he got hurt to the body, he just got on his roller skates and he escapes.
Yeah.
He escaped to see another day. So
right.
He never been down by a body shot. He never been knocked down or stopped by a body shot though.
That just happened toward the end. Earlier in his career, because it was Sean Porter, all them body shots didn't seem to bother him, remember? And that was a tough fight against Sean.
Yeah, I know, but if you don't sharpen your sword, you don't sharpen your tools, they get dull, That's what I'm thinking.
And he had a long layoff.
Yeah. Yeah, so that can go against them. Because Virgil a warrior. So that can go against them, but I just don't want to count him out. That's my man. Let's see what man can do. Know what I mean? Let me see what he can do. This is gonna be a tough fight though.
Yeah.
I just think it's too high of a jump, from Brock Jarvis all the way up to Virgil Ortiz,
I'm kind of thinking that way too.
Like that usually doesn't pan out so good,
Remember, he was a champion though, bro. He was a champion.
Yes, he was. And a great one. And I love Prime Keith Thurman, but I'm just saying that when you go from a jump from a D fighter all the way to an A fighter, usually, bro, you're jumping those steps, and I don't know if that's a wise idea, because he was on a collision course with Team Zero.
Yeah, Virgil with pressure,
Non-stop pressure. That's a real Mexican style. Real Mexican style.
Exactly.
And Keith's gonna have to. I don't know if Keith's gonna be able to, stay away from him the entire time, like he's gonna need to do. He can't stand there and train with Virgil like he did in his last fight, I don't think.
Well, I'm trying to see, like, when he fought Pacquiao was like not a much of a Mexican style, but would you say it's a Mexican style? But shit, Berger, you know, he got dropped one time, but you know, I mean,
yeah, true. But that was a few years back. That was 2021, and Keith was more active. Right. Than, you know, he was fighting regular back then. Remember?
You're right, bro. You're right. You're right. All right, I'm trying to get my man a life jacket. I'm trying to get him a life jacket.
I'm just saying, devil's advocate. You might be right. Keith might get in there and do his thing. You know.
I mean, it's good to analyze this truth from all angles, because you know, for me, for you, and for other brothers who want to put their hard-earned money on this. You know, I don't want to mislead nobody. You know.
That's true. Yeah. If I was gonna put some money on it, when is it anyway?
I'm not sure.
I think it's November, ain't it? Did you find on it?
I just had it.
It's late in the year.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I'll let you know.
What about you? Think about Frank and Barbosa. I mean, who's Barbosa?
I'll let you take that one. I don't really follow Frank Martin too much.
Yeah,
I can't follow. There's too many boxes. I can't follow all of them because it's like, yeah, I got things I'm trying to do and stuff, you know. So
yeah, that's very true. Yeah,
says it's planned for October, but nothing is certain, you know. Just planned for October. That's what he says.
Yeah, I would lean toward Frank in that one. That's from a skill standpoint, you know. Decision in that one.
Hey,
okay, let me ask you this, Pound King. What about Devin and Brian Norman?
I'm going with Brian on that one, but listen.
No, I'm going with Devin. Okay, you're going with Norman. Okay.
Okay. I see what the boxer, right? But
yeah,
I want to get into Matias. But before we go into Matias,
okay.
I just want to say, I can kind of agree with you, but there's another side of the quarter, because it's like, yo, I never seen much of Norman,
right?
But he got that knockout power like that, you know.
Yeah, true.
From what he said in his own interview, that y'all like the people have been judging him off power punches and stuff. So he just want to, in Devin fighting, he want to show something different. So I don't know. You know, I don't want to limit to him to just being a power puncher, a stalker. Right. Maybe he could be a boxer too. I don't want to limit to. I haven't seen much of him, but I might lean towards him. But I wouldn't be surprised if Devin do what Devin do.
Yeah, Norman definitely haven't been in there for anybody at that level yet. Devin will beat you on some points though. That's right. He knew how to escape and stay away.
Yeah.
And Norman don't have those fast hands like Ryan had neither, you know.
Yeah, but I'm more concerned like his feet, really. His feet, because if he could pick up his feet, yes, Norman. If he could pick up his feet, and if he could do boxing style like he said he can do, he's going to switch it up. I want to see something different. But
I've never seen that yet.
This is what Roy Jones said. When he start teaching boxers, the first thing he teaches them is feet work.
Yeah.
Fights are won from the feet first. That's what Roy Jones said, right? So I kind of always go with that.
That's true.
Yeah, I kind of go with that. So if Norman got slow feet, I don't think you're gonna catch Devin like that. Devin is gonna be catching them points, collecting them points, ching, and just you don't get the W.
That's a good point about the feet, because with his knockout power, like you say, he's gonna be able to he's gonna have to catch up with Devin. So you're gonna need some decent feet to do that, you know. And like if he can't, then Devin just gonna coast to a classic outboxer decision. Devin don't care what the people say and all that stuff. He's just trying to win. That's his style, you know.
Yeah,
and I'm not no big Devin fan, but I'm just saying that's his style. So hey, I wouldn't worry about what the people say. I'm winning using that style. So hey, You know, if it's boring, it's just boring. I'm winning.
Yeah. I don't know, like if he's like bringing that anger to the fight, that grudge. Especially his father don't like them either. So it's like his father and him don't like them. So I don't know. Like I'm getting from my father. Shit, he disrespected me too. So I don't know. And I don't know if that's gonna play a factor.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like some people, like with Tyson, he used that fury like crazy. So they called him Kid Dynamite.
Yeah.
Some people backfires against him doing stuff, you know?
Yeah, you talking about Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
He used that mental thing on him. That's what happened against Buster. He couldn't get in Buster's head. And,
I was just watching that today.
Buster was not intimidated whatsoever.
Yep.
You know, he came out there like, yeah, I know I can beat you. He had that look, and you know, Tyson never got past that. Buster was like,
Tyson was sleeping too. He had that look. Yeah. Tyson was sleeping, and remember, Douglas had a purpose. Like his mother just passed.
He sure did. He had the Senate.
Like a couple days later, like what a mind state. Like first it was like she's sick. A couple weeks before the fight, then she passes. So how heavy is that on your mind, brother?
Yeah, right there.
And you still training? Like, man, fuck this fighting shit. Fuck this money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
with it, you know, your mother. Yeah, but she probably had told him she wanted him to go through with it, you know.
Yeah, she talked to him from what his interview.
Yeah,
and he was just like you said, he was just so zoned out and focused, man. Like the crowd, everybody was blocked off because you know he gonna hear it, and you gonna get knocked down. He gonna kill you. You know, he heard it up the elevator, the stairs. No matter where he went to, he couldn't escape it.
42-1.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Like he didn't have a chance.
He really had to block the whole world out.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the fight that day.
Yeah, I did too. I saw it. It was a shocker.
And your expression was probably like my expression. Just how like Sugar Ray expression was when that uppercut, like the uppercut came and then the 3Ps. And everybody was like, what? No, nobody said a word. But everybody mental was like, what the fuck? But nobody said nothing. We were shocked.
And you know, when it started, when Buster was doing so good, you still had that thought in your mind, yeah, Mike gonna still get him eventually. He gonna get him, you know. Even though Buster was doing that jab and looking good, but I was just thinking, yeah, Tyson gonna catch up with him eventually and get him out of there. And then he dropped him. I said, oh, well, here we go. But Buster got up.
But look, my brother, check it out. Check it out, brother. Check this out, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was an uppercut on the back foot. So it was like he was going backwards, baying them. What? That's a main uppercut. That's historically one of the toughest uppercuts.
Yeah.
And the best, I mean, come on, he beat the youngest heavyweight champion, one of the greatest, with a back uppercut.
I always said that if that Buster that beat Mike Tyson, if he could have stayed like that, all them heavyweights would have had Buster would have been a problem in the 90s.
Yes, sir. I agree with you, brother. I agree with you.
Said not training. Buster had that version of Buster was a good fighter, man.
Yeah. Buster told you. Buster said it though. In his interview, he said like, "Yo, they all was judging me. I knew I could beat them. They all was judging me because my losses and shit. But
yeah,
I was that type. You know, I get a loss. Celebrate that, and I might take two. I'll get a win, a big win, and I might celebrate that. Then I might take 2 losses after that. You know what I mean? I got to get motivated. He said that himself.
Yeah, he never got back.
So after the Mike Tyson fight,
yeah,
you know, he was just going in for the check, G.
That's all. After that, yeah. He didn't really want it. He never got back in that kind of shape again in his career.
So you know what? Answer me this, bro. Answer me this one.
Mm-hmm.
That Douglas, that fought Tyson.
Yeah.
If he would have fought Holyfield, what you think would have happened?
He would have beat him. That Buster would have beat Holyfield.
Hold on, brother. Hold up. Hold on. Think about what you're saying, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been said that.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Holy. Hold on. You said that Douglas would have beat Holyfield.
It would have been a real good fight if he would have been in the same type of virgin that fought Mike. He might not have beat him. It would have been a real good fight with him and Holyfield. That Buster and Holyfield would have been a barn burner, you know.
Because look. Holyfield started out with a war with the young brother at cruiserweight. My Quali.
Yeah, Quali, the one that just passed away, right?
Yeah, rest in peace to the brother. But he brought Holyfield to how many wars they had? Like 2 wars or 3?
Yeah, you know, actually, the first fight Holyfield said he almost quit.
I know. Man, listen. I heard his interviews about Quali.
He said, I almost let him have it. I was just gonna quit. That was he said that was his toughest fight.
Yo, bro. He said that he hit him so hard that Holyfield was out around 2 or 3, and then he came back to round 15.
Yeah.
So that's what he said in the interview, that he lost consciousness. Like he lost consciousness. That's how hard Quali hit him.
And you know, that was Holyfield's own fault though, because he had the height and reach, but Holyfield had a habit. Once he get hit a couple times, he gonna brawl. He threw the game plan out the window. He had the height, everything on Quali, but Holyfield just stood up in there and brawled with him. But that was Holyfield, you know. You get him a couple times, Holyfield, they forget the game plan. It's a war now.
Yeah. Now for somebody big, Riddick Bowe with fast hands, he beat him 2 out of 3 times.
Yeah. You know, remember the second fight? I think if that fan man hadn't come, Bowe was gonna win that one too.
Okay, well,
the man came in everything. Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, so it could be done. Holyfield was beatable because he was beat. You know what I mean? So I won't put that past that Douglas.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, bro. I see what you're saying.
Let me tell you this. That version of Douglas that beat Mike, him and Bowe would have been a barn burner. Both them 2 big boys. If he went in there Bowe like that. Now that
but look, that Douglas, his hands was fast.
Yeah. And had that.
And he was big. He big and strong. You see how he was pushing Tyson with the elbow? Like, get back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That shit had to hurt, bro. You think that shit was hurt? I think that shit had to hurt, bro.
He was controlling Mike.
How much he was weighing? Like 240, right? So Mike he was bigger than Mike.
That was
I don't know how. That's how much?
About 240, and he still was nimble and agile with it. You know, he wasn't he was in good shape.
So he would have been stronger than. I think he might have been stronger than Bowe.
You think he could have beat Bowe?
I think he was just stronger. He could have been strong because he's like stocky.
Yeah, but you know, Bowe had the same problem, training and not being in shape. Bowe could have been so much more, man. You know, he had.
That's like a lot of fighters.
Yeah,
we gotta make a list of the top 10 undisciplined fighters.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good. I'm gonna write that down. That's a good subject.
Man, Roberto Duran, James Tony. Which one is first? Who come first?
Roberto.
James Tony could have. The right James Tony. That for Mike McCallum. That for Iran Barkley. That James Tony. I think he would have gave Roy Jones some problems.
Well, Michael Nunn too. The Tony that beat Michael Nunn, remember?
Yeah, because remember James Tony had to lose like 20 pounds within 2 weeks, 20, 40 pounds or something in 2 weeks. Like he wasn't disciplined.
Yeah, Tony could have been. He's still a Hall of Famer, but he could have been, man.
Durant too. So who number one? Durant or Tony? Who number one?
I would say Tony, because
Durant,
he would get in shape, but his problem was partying, and then he would have to cut so much weight and everything. That's what his problem was, partying too hard after fights. Because that's how DeJesus beat him the first time when Durant first won the title. He went out there and started partying and carrying on. Then had to cut all that weight and everything. DeJesus beat him, and that's how Sugar Ray beat him. Sugar Ray rushed him back in there for that immediate rematch. Yeah. And when he quit, it was still a very close fight when he quit against Sugar Ray. It was 7 rounds to go. Ray was only winning by that. It was a very close fight. That's what made me so mad at Durant. He was still in the fight. He didn't have to do that. But he got frustrated. Sugar Ray was doing all that nonsense. Putting his chin out there and winding up. And I think I would have quit too. Yeah. But what else you got? I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Gotta go.
Okay, good brother. It was nice building with you. I mean, I'll come up with my list. You come up with your list. Top 10.
Yeah. That's a good one. Top 10 undisciplined.
Undisciplined fighters. Yeah. I got 10 for you, but I know you're gonna have a list though. I know your list is gonna be strong too though.
Next time I see you, we're gonna compare them.
Okay, that's what it is.
All right. Okay, take care now. Appreciate
you. You too. Have a blessed day. I appreciate you.
Same to you. Okay.
Peace, brother.
Peace. Pound for pound, King Bud. And the Fine Arnie checked out. I didn't even notice the Fine Arnie was gone. Okay, appreciate everybody. Putting another one in the books. We'll be back tomorrow. It's Thursday. We're going to talk about, that's when we talk about the country. Tomorrow is going to be Brazil. Boxing in Brazil tomorrow. Okay? So everybody have a great day. Let's see, what do we have in the building today? What's today, the 6th? Pound for pound, King Bud, Terry Akers, Al Booger, Sonny Boy Boxing, Technique, The Drunk Irishman, Define Arnie One, Mike Mazik, Mike Rim, and Miss Cass. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian bringing you all that boxing history. Everybody have a great afternoon. Holler at y'all tomorrow. Dopo domani. That's Italian for see you tomorrow.